Hello there. What is going on, everyone? We're going to talk about Star Wars Armada today, and I'm going to give you guys some ideas that I've got. I also want to hear some of yours. Talking about some possible ideas for the future of Armada and ways that some content could easily come out that would revitalize this game, as well as kind of fix the problem of having expensive expansions that are difficult and time consuming to make that have like a lower profit margin. My idea lies in a lot of cardboard based approaches that would be very easy to make. If you guys are new here to the channel, we talk a lot about Star Wars and tabletop games, especially where those two meet. So if you're interested in Star Wars Armada, X-Wing, Legion, Shatterpoint, games like that, you're definitely in the right place. I do talk a lot about games like that. So we're also doing a $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. Plus, you can check out links in the video description below. Jump in our Discord. We have a painting competition going in there right now, as well as all kinds of other good stuff. So, with all that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the concept of this video. Is really speculative. We really are in an unfamiliar, well, I guess kind of a familiar, but maybe an uncomfortable place right now for Star Wars Armada, in that we have no news as to the future of the game. A lot of us were expecting a rapid reinforcements, and we didn't really get that. We do know that Worlds is going to happen at Adepticon next year, but we don't really have a whole lot of news for Armada with regards to any kind of new content. There's certainly organized play support, but that's about it, at least until next year. Now, what we do know is that Star Wars Armada, as well as all of Star Wars X-Wing, has completely gone out of stock on the Asmodee web store, which has left a lot of people very confused, as well as lots of other emotions. We don't really know what it means, but it could mean anything. I did a whole other video talking about what it could mean and other doors that could possibly open as a result of that, but we really don't know. So I thought to myself, I said, well, what is one of the big problems, the things that are going on that we know about with Asmodee, Atomic Mass Games, Embracer Group, and Star Wars Armada? And well, we kind of know, I certainly know that, Embracer Group had this whole big debt transfer to Asmodee. Asmodee's taking on lots and lots of debt and has, basically has to kind of redouble their efforts to construct the Death Star, so to speak. And while that's really kind of echelons and echelons above a lot of us, it still is going to have some kind of impact, and kind of, I don't believe that's it's a coincidence that announcement happened, and then like a month or two later, we all suddenly see X-Wing and Armada, have this change in the Asmodee web store, as well as Atomic Mass Games not being able to comment on them, which is it's annoying as a fan of these games. So what could happen, right? So I know that it's a lot. You have a lot higher profit margin on games that are cheaper to produce. The cheapest games being games like Star Wars Unlimited. So Fantasy Flight Games has kind of hit a gold mine with Star Wars Unlimited. That's cheap to produce, and your profit ends up being much higher. Versus Star Wars Legion, which is still fairly cheap to produce and still has a pretty high profit margin, and that's, I think, one of Asmodee's top games right now. Now, we also know that X-Wing and Armada, while they are widely popular games and have names that have established them as dominant forces in the tabletop gaming community, they also are more expensive to produce because, again, these are pre-assembled and pre-painted and have very big packaging for just one ship. If you've ever purchased an Armada ship before, a lot of the boxes are about this big for a ship that's only like this big. And so look at like the MC-30 is probably one of the most egregious boxes. The ship is the size of my pinky, but the box is like this big. So it's very, very weird stuff. Definitely not efficient as far as making money, although it's great content and it's an amazing game. So I thought, maybe I could throw out some ideas on things that might work for the community. I don't know if Asmodee or AMG is listening, or if they even care, but I thought it's just fun to talk about these things, and I kind of want to hear what you guys think. So I have a 3-step approach towards revitalizing Star Wars Armada on the cheap, which would offer affordable products to you guys that would probably have a high profit margin and that would work for a lot of stuff. So maybe these are crazy ideas, but I want to hear what you guys think. The first one lies in rapid reinforcements, and it deals with basically putting out another box similar to the upgrade card collection. It's the cards that we would have gotten in Rapid Reinforcements 1 and Rapid Reinforcements 2, along with a third roundup of Rapid Reinforcements. This does mean there'd be some development time for some more cards, but it would allow them to kind of give us another upgrade card collection size box at with only having to print some physical cards. It could be a smaller pack. It could still sell for a decent amount. I think a lot of players would love to see new physical content. I know that the shop owners would love to actually have, to get those people back in their store and buying more of these. And you can have another upgrade card collection. It could be a Rapid Reinforcements collection. It could have Rapid Reinforcements 1, 2, and 3. Of course, we don't even know if Rapid Reinforcements 3 was ever really a thing or not, but it would give us an opportunity to get new cards. It would give AMG an opportunity to sell some Armada product, and it would be much easier to produce than physical pre-painted ships that have to be pre-assembled and painted at a factory, and then of course shipped with a lot more delicate care because you really can't damage. It takes a lot of effort to damage a card box as opposed to damaging like a Star Destroyer. So that is my thought. It gives us new stuff, and it gives us ways to, if for those of you who haven't purchased a Rapid Reinforcements 1 and 2 like printed out in high quality, it allows you to get those cards in high quality, although a lot of Etsy shops and stuff are definitely selling those. I think I got mine from Peter Saber, and they're great, but it'd be always nice to have some official product for both the health of your stores and for the health of the game. It would also show Asmodee, hey, look how many people are buying this game. You have a lot of fans out there. Because a lot of fans right now, our Armada community in Orlando is growing constantly, but nobody's got anything to buy. We all have all the stuff we need. Give us some new stuff, right? Moving on to idea number 2. And number 2 is a ship token box. Now, my thought here is that instead of just having cards, this would have some cards also. This would have cardboard. So this would be a more expensive box. This would be a heavy box. This could be upwards of $50, even more, depending on how many ships they decide to do. This could be a very expensive box. Now, this does not require any new plastic, but what this is doing, in my theory here, is that this could apply the Star Destroyer treatment to other ships in the game. And what I mean by that is when the Chimera expansion came out, it came with ship cards and cardboard to give your Imperial Star Destroyer 1 and 2 another way to run with 2 more versions of the Imperial Star Destroyer, the Simoon and Kuat refits, and it gave you different cardboard to go with them. So now you have, and you can still use the exact same model, but you had different cardboard. And the idea here is that you could apply this sort of treatment to other ships. I feel like the Clone Wars is a great opportunity. I feel like every single Clone Wars ship could get 2 more versions of them, and maybe a couple of Rebel and Imperial ships. Although the Rebel and Empire don't need as much help, it'd be nice to give them at least 1 or 2 ships that get this sort of treatment. But because again, you kind of want to revitalize the whole game, and you don't necessarily want to only improve 2 factions. You want to give something new to everybody to get everybody out there buying the stuff, coming out to play, and having a lot of fun with all of this new cardboard. And it would also could come with the ship cards to go along with it. And this would be potentially more detailed than just having the difference between a Raider 1 and a Raider 2, or the difference between a Victory 1 and a Victory 2. These could be more significant ship differences, changing upgrade options, potentially having slightly different printed arcs. You could have a version of perhaps an MC-80 Home 1 that has maybe more wider side arcs or more narrow side arcs. You could potentially change the yellow dot placement on certain ships to make them a little harder to hit in certain areas. Now, granted, if you're using the same ship profile, maybe the yellow dot isn't the smartest thing to move around, but it does allow you to do a lot of different stuff like that. It can also allow you to do some interesting rapid reinforcement style cards, like if you wanted to give a version of the Quasar to the Rebels, although that might work better in rapid reinforcements. That's something you could also do here in this ship card box, and you could also take those rapid reinforcements ships that do have new cards and give them a proper cardboard to go along with that. But it could be a big cardboard box. Cardboard's still cheap to produce, but you could charge a little more for it. And if you do have one version of each of these, folks that have multiple ships might be tempted to buy more than one of these as well. This could be a very high seller and could completely revitalize the game with having lots and lots of new variations of existing ships requiring no new plastic whatsoever. This would be, I think interdictors would really love a different version that was maybe more cost effective, and or two more versions. There's a lot of ships that could use the cardboard treatment, and I'd love to see it. Nebulons too, man. I love Nebulons. It'd be cool to see some new Nebulons. And the third option is a cardboard-only wave of very cool stuff. And this doesn't even have to all come out in the same year. It could be spread out over 2 or even 3 years. But it'd be a campaign box that uses the Clone Wars. Look, the campaign boxes were wildly successful. It gave groups of players a campaign that was designed for Rebels and Empire fleets to be able to have ongoing games and continuing, experience. And there are multiple campaigns. You had Rebellion in the Rim, but you already also had the Corellian conflict, and they were both a little different. And there's not an option for the Clone Wars. Now, granted, you can run these with the Clone Wars, but they're not designed for that. They're not balanced for that. And frankly, considering the fact that we have 4 factions now, instead of simply being a Clone Wars campaign, I think it would be awesome if the campaign had options for 4 sides. So you could have all 4 factions potentially, doing like a war games type of scenario. Maybe the campaign wouldn't even be based for 4 sides. Maybe it'd only be based for 2 sides, but it could cross from one era to another. And maybe it takes place at the end of episode 3 and then the dawn of the Empire. So halfway through the campaign, your fleets change over from Rebels to Separatists, or from Separatists to Rebels, and from Republic to Empire. Like, that would be a really cool idea. But it could also involve maybe a 4-player scenario, 2 to 4 player scenarios that can allow 4-player games or something like that. The other thing that was really cool about these campaigns is they also came out with a couple extra upgrade cards and squadron variants. They were kind of like the first version of what Rebellion in the rapid reinforcements kind of was. So it offers yet another opportunity to get some more cards out there, some more squadrons, and basically add a little bit more to the game. Maybe even some generic upgrades that can go on everything, a new turbo laser, a new defensive retrofit, something like that, that doesn't have like a faction or a faction requirement. There's a lot you could do here, but this would appeal to a whole different sect of players that are looking for campaigns and looking for something new to do with the Clone Wars factions that's designed with them in mind. Could be a lot of fun to create. And again, it's a cardboard product. People are going to have a good time with it. And it's not nearly as expensive to produce as brand new ships are. Those are my 3 ideas for some very cost-effective, non-plastic expansion ideas for Star Wars Armada that if AMG or Asmodee decide they want to do some more stuff, that I think that these would be great ways to breathe new life into the game, to revitalize Armada, and to give the next season some new content. So we don't just see multiple years of worlds where the same exact fleets with no differences continue to show up in our top 8. It'd be nice to see a little bit of change from year to year. And that's what would, those are some of my suggestions. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts down in the comments below and in our Discord and on social media channels. Also, don't forget the link to Patreon down there if you're interested in supporting the channel. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are out of this world and help make this whole channel possible. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. Have a great day, and always wash your socks.